What's good, YouTube? It's your boy 2K the God, my man Sess.
What up?
Welcome to the Gods of Boxing Talk. Now, for the first time on the show, I got my man Malachi all the way from Virginia, man. Let him know what's up, B.
How you doing?
Yeah, he's on the show right now, man. Real knowledgeable cat. Knows a lot about the little guys, man. So I had to give him a call, had to bring him on the show, because that's who the fuck we want to talk about today is the little guys. Now, in September, we got a big-ass fucking fight coming up. We got Mr. Carlos Cuadras versus Roman Gonzalez, who is the #1 pound-for-pound king at this moment. And then there has been some information in the news that at 112 pounds, the WBO regular, regular champion Kazuto Ioka and the WBA Super 112-pound champion Juan Francisco Estrada has been ordered by the WBA, and that's a fucking huge mega fight that a lot of cats don't know a lot about. You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna start off with Cuadras and Gonzalez. Now I'm gonna give a little bit of tidbits, and I'm gonna go to my man Malachi and let him give his assessment. Now, Cuadras is the #2 junior bantamweight in the world. He is currently the WBC 115-pound champion. He's 5'4", has a 66-inch reach, 35-0, 27 of those 35 wins coming by knockout. He has 1 draw. All right, he's going up against Roman Gonzalez. Not too much I need to say about my man Roman Gonzalez, #1 pound-for-pound fighter in the world, 45-0, 38 of his 45 wins coming by knockout, and he's the current WBC 112-pound champion. So he's moving up in weight, people. Malachi, what you think about that fight, B?
I think this is an excellent fight. Excellent fight for the boxing fans. I think it's gonna be a good fight for the casuals. Their styles gonna mesh. I'm a little bit worried for Roman in this one. You know, he's moving up in weight once again.
Yeah.
He's giving up the reach advantage, and if he can't hurt Carlos, it might be a long night for him. You know, Royo took his power punches pretty well in this last fight, and I thought Roman dominated that fight, but it wasn't the Roman we've been accustomed to seeing either.
No doubt.
And if he can't hurt Carlos, and Carlos is able to put him on the back foot, I don't know what to expect from Roman, because we really haven't seen Roman be the one being pushed back. And as a pressure fighter, we know that's a pressure fighter's weakness. Yes. If you can get them moving backwards. So it's going to be an excellent fight, and I'm really looking forward to it.
All right, my man Sess, what you think of the fight, B?
Yo, first of all, let me say thanks, Malachi, for being on the show.
No doubt.
As a pleasure. It's always great to, you know what I'm saying, be on the show with my boy 2K.
No doubt.
But anyway, let's jump right into this. I really like this fight. You know what I mean? I'm going to agree with Malachi. I think that this should be a great fight. Carlos is 35-0 with 27 knockouts, so that right there tells me that he does have a little bit of power. I also believe he's a southpaw. If I'm not mistaken, I believe he's a southpaw. Now, thing about this fight is, even though Roman is giving up some things in some pretty key areas, I'm not worried at all. I'm really not, man. I'm not too much worried about Roman Gonzalez facing any type of real adversity in this fight. The reason being is because he's such a technical fucking boxer. Even though he's a very good pressure fighter, he's an extremely technical guy. And the one thing about guys, when they're very technical and they apply pressure, at some point in time, you're gonna have to stand still and fight them. Oh. And when you stand still and fight them, they tend to literally box circles around you. They hit you with 3 or 4 or 5 shots, and then they move. They hit you with 3 or 4 or 5 more shots, and they move to the other side that they just came from. And that's something that I've seen Roman Gonzalez be able to do very, very, very well. I do agree with Malachi. His last fight wasn't too impressive, but I like the way that Roman took what was it, a Royal? Roman took what a Royal.
McWilliams Arroyo, yeah.
Okay, McWilliams Arroyo. Roman took what he had to give. He was hitting Roman with some pretty good shots as well.
Oh yeah.
and Roman was actually able to take it, and it didn't deter him. It didn't make him lose sight of his game plan. He stuck with his strategy, and he beat Arroyo. I think it'll be the same thing with Carlos Cuadras. I believe that even if Cuadras gets off a good shot on Roman, that's not gonna deter him. He's gonna keep applying that pressure. He's gonna keep eating his fucking body up. Exactly. There we go. Yeah. Yep. He's gonna eat this boy's body up, man. I'm not taking nothing away from Carlos, but at the same time, I truly, truly, truly believe that Roman Gonzalez is just on another level.
Yeah, there's a few things that I got about Carlos Cuadras that I want to discuss, man. One of the pros that he has is he has fast feet, he has fast hands, and he's very quick with his movement, man. Very good punch variation. My man can go up top, he can go down below. He utilizes his reach, sets up his combinations with the jab. I mean, he has nice upper body movement. Now, a problem with that is that has a pro and a con. His upper body movement only comes when he's standing back thinking about what to do next. And that's where his head movement comes in as well. When he's on the attack or if he's on the defensive, he's not moving. He's not doing that shit. But he's only doing that when he's not on the attack and he's watching his opponent and he doesn't want to just stand there. So he'll do this a little bit. But it's nothing, to keep him from getting hit from shots thrown by his opponent, okay? For your one punch, he will return 3. So if you come in on him and you throw some little bullshit-ass jab or you just throwing a bullshit-ass straight, my man's going to come over the top of that with a combination almost 100% of the time, okay? Some of the cons, he lunges with his jab, B. Like, okay, I was watching his fight. What's the cat's name that he had to draw with? Jose Salgado. I was watching his fight against Jose Salgado. Man, he lunged with his punch so many fucking times, B. And if you're a counter puncher, this is not Roman Gonzalez, by the way, of course. But if you're a counter puncher, man, you could come over the top of this nigga's shit so easily. You know what I'm saying? And it's not that he has a great defense to where he's lunging and then he brings that hoe back immediately. No, he's lunged and his fucking face is right here. You could come over the top of that shit all day long. Okay? I already talked about that. When he's thinking, he bounces, or that's when he's doing his upper body movement. Another thing, you can go to the body with him. You can be successful going to the body against him, just like my man Seth said. And when you do that and you push him up against the ropes, it's lights out, B. I'm not saying that he'll get knocked out, but if he's up against the ropes, again, against Jose Salgado, Salgado had him up against the ropes, my man was stuck like this, and he's retreating to the side like, shit, I don't want to touch the ropes. You can tell that he don't want to be there, okay? Yeah. Roman Gonzalez, the way he fights, it's so much pressure and so much volume that if Cuadras cannot hurt Gonzalez and keep him backwards, keep him moving backwards, or nullify his attack, bruh, he's gonna catch him up against the ropes, and it's gonna be lights out, B.
Yeah.
I see Roman Gonzalez winning this fight. A lot of people are like, man, this could be fight of the year, da-da-da-da. The only way I see this being fight of the year is if Roman Gonzalez fights a stupid fight, in my opinion.
Yeah.
McWilliams Arroyo did sting him up in the latter rounds, but McWilliams Arroyo was making sure that he kept the fight in the middle of the ring. Okay?
Yeah.
This is what Cuadras would have to do. But he was unsuccessful in doing that against a guy that's not really as good as fucking Roman Gonzalez, who applied kind of the same style as Roman Gonzalez and Jose Salgado. So, I don't know, man. One other thing I do like, and I'll turn it over to y'all. One thing that I do like that I didn't mention. Cuadras is his left hook to the body is fucking ridiculous, bro. Like my man comes in with a jab. This is the combination he likes to do. He likes to come in with a jab, then he'll immediately go down low. Right hook, left hook to the body. He'll come back up top with another hook. That shit is off the chain when he does that shit, B. I love when he does that. I think the way he fights, it could be a war early. But I just see Roman taking over, man. Pushing him back, having his back up against the ropes, and just taking over, man. I see him winning that.
Yeah. No, I mean, I totally agree. I wanna touch on something that you just said.
Go ahead.
The pressure and the volume, that is key.
Yeah.
When it comes to Roman Gonzalez, I mean, that's his style. That pressure and that volume. A lot of guys don't understand. It's extremely hard to keep a guy that's coming at you in the middle of the ring.
Yeah.
It's very hard. It's even harder to push a fighter that's used to going forward backwards. That's the reason why a lot of guys who try to fight Golovkin a particular way, they usually can't, because it's like trying to stop a fucking boulder that's rolling downhill.
Hell yeah.
You know what I mean? So when you've got a guy that applies that type of pressure and he does it behind punches, I mean, it's very, very, very hard to stop a fighter like that. Like I said, I like Carlos Cuadras' record, but at the end of the day, I just don't believe he's as comfortable at every point in the ring like Roman Gonzalez is. I honestly believe that Roman Gonzalez is comfortable wherever you put him at in the ring.
Good point.
You know, but I don't think Carlos is there yet, and that's the reason why I say I believe Roman is on just another level. Yeah. A lot of guys who fight, they can only fight one way because they're not comfortable, doing other things. Roman, I just believe he is. You know what I mean? Now I do think that at some point in the fight, Carlos will. I mean, I'm sure he's gonna land on Roman.
Oh yeah.
I'm sure he is.
Oh yeah.
But it has to come at a point in the fight where Roman hasn't built up a head of steam yet. Mm-hmm. If he allows Roman to build up a head of steam, those punches that he lands, I don't see them being extremely effective. You know what I mean? I think Roman Gonzalez is a guy where you have to get his respect early. When you come out the gate, you do not let him dictate. So it's just one of those. I'm sorry, he's just one of those type of fighters, man.
Yeah. Who you got winning that fight, Malachi?
I have Roman winning the fight. I think it's going to go the distance. I don't think he's going to stop him.
I agree.
You brought on a great point with the body punches from Carlos, and I think in the Estrada fight we seen Roman had some issues with some body punches. Mm-hmm. Carlos can land enough of those in the fight. He's going to slow him down, that punch output down a little bit, and Roman has excellent cardio, so he's going to come.
Yeah.
Be able to throw that many punches for 12 rounds,
right.
But you'll be able to slow him down a bit, throwing them body punches.
Yeah.
And if Roman can't hurt him, it could be a long night for him.
Yeah, I agree. It goes both ways. If neither fighter, I think the factor of not being able to hurt your opponent will be more of a bad thing for Cuadras, in my opinion.
Yes, I absolutely agree.
But I agree, Malachi, does go both ways. They both need to be able to hurt the opponent. But I still think Gonzalez, it's the rope factor, man. When I seen him, he literally fucking almost ran, B. Like, so his back wouldn't touch the ropes, you know what I'm saying? When I saw that shit, I was like, oh, hell nah, man. That's not a good sign, B.
Yeah.
All right, fam, let's go ahead and move to the next one. So, in this fight, man, it's a fight that I've actually been waiting on, man. It's not getting a lot of press. The WBA actually fucking ordered this shit like a month ago. It was like July 16th, somewhere in that area. And, it's the little cats, so they don't get a lot of press, fucking Andre Ward, Kovalev, Triple G, whatnot, et cetera, et cetera. So, they don't have PR people in their camps, hitting up the media, to telling reporters to report on this shit. But it's a fight at 112 pounds between Kazuto Ioka, the WBA regular 112-pound title holder. He's the number 3 flyweight in the world, versus Juan Francisco Estrada, who's the number 2 flyweight in the world. He is the WBA Super and the WBO 112-pound champion. Now, Estrada fought Roman Gonzalez, and that was his second loss of his career. His first loss was to Juan Carlos Sanchez Jr., who was at one point a very promising guy and, you know, had some hiccups later on in his career. My man says,
what up?
How you feel about this fight ordered by the WBA? Now, nothing signed yet, but it might be a possibility. It's a strong possibility this fight gets made. What you think about it, B?
Oh man, I definitely like the fight. I think it'll be a great fight for both guys. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, you know, I've watched Kazuto Ioka.
Yeah.
And I'm not too impressed with dude. You know, a lot of people I think a lot of people like him. He's a very small guy, but I do think Estrada will beat him, and here's why. Ioka utilizes that high guard. And the fights that I've seen him in, he utilizes the high guard. Oh. But the thing is, he's very stiff behind it. He doesn't have a real good rhythm when he's utilizing that guard. And another thing is, I didn't like the way when in the fights I've seen him in, I don't like the fact that he doesn't. Me personally, when you're utilizing the high guard, you need to be very active from that position. Right. Because if not, it turns into a defensive position. When you've just got the hands up and you've got them closed, you're pretty much looking for an opening, and you're trying to take that opening. Now, the thing with Estrada is Estrada does have decent footwork. And I believe that if he can box around Ioka's high guard and Ioka being set when he wants to let his hands go, he'll beat him. I'm not going to say he'll beat him easy, but he should beat him pretty convincingly. But
really?
Like I said, yeah, yes, I
Okay.
do. I definitely believe so. When Estrada fought Roman Gonzalez, I mean, come on, that's Roman Gonzalez, you know.
Yeah.
Gonzalez pretty much raped him throughout that whole fight, but Ioka doesn't have that type of style. You know what I mean? Even when he has that high guard and he's trying to box you, he doesn't have that type of style. Right. In order to do, you know, in order to do enough against Estrada. I think Estrada is a decent boxer. I do believe, like I said, I think he has decent footwork. He lets his hands go. So I'm not really convinced that Kazuto Ioka can go in there and get the job done. He's I believe he's 20-1. He only has 12 knockouts.
Right.
So again, you've got the high guard and you've got that style, but the power isn't necessarily there. Right. So it should be a very interesting fight. If this is official, like I said, it'll definitely be it'll be an interesting fight to say the least.
My man Malachi, what you think about that fight, B?
I really love the fight. Ioka, he's an interesting fighter. When he won his belt off Juan Carlos, I think he showed some excellent counterpunching in that fight.
Yeah.
I think he's got a 66-inch reach. Yep. So he's, for a flyweight, he's kind of taller, and it'd be an interesting fight, contrasting styles. I agree with Cecil. I do like Estrada in that fight. I think he'll outwork him. I think he'll eventually probably stop him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I think while the fight is happening, I think it's going to be something all the fans are going to want to watch.
Okay. Yeah, I'm in agreement with both of y'all. And actually, one of my subscribers who's very knowledgeable, he had actually, hit me up with some information, asked for my take on the fight a week ago, about a week and a half ago. And he had Ioka, and I had told him that I was picking Estrada for various reasons. Little things about Ioka, he's very fundamentally sound. Like my man Seth said, he keeps his high guard, and he always brings his hands back. Problem with that is that keeping the high guard, I'm gonna add to what my man Seth said. It makes you susceptible to the body. And the reason why I say that is because he doesn't have very much lateral movement, nor does he have backwards movement. I mean, he's moving back when somebody's applying pressure to him, but he can't fight on his back foot, nor can he actually defend on it. The only defense that he has is this. That's pretty much it, bro. So I think he's very susceptible to the body. He does have power in both hands. He has a beautiful fucking straight right hand, but his money punch is a left hook. Beautiful, beautiful left hook. He's actually unorthodox, so the left hook will be his lead hand. And he knocks motherfuckers cold clean out with that shit, B. Yeah.
I hope it's won his last 2 by stop.
Absolutely, exactly. Another guy with variation in his combinations. He starts high, ends low, and vice versa. I mean, my man can start off 2 punches to the dome, then he's ending his combination with 2 punches to the body. I enjoyed that very much. He has a high offensive IQ. This is something I haven't heard anybody talk about, man. A lot of people that I talk with about the little guys, he can actually look at your tendencies, and he can place his punches very well with high accuracy based on your tendencies defensively. He was killing cats. I mean, like I said, his money punch is a left hook, but that straight right hand was killing motherfuckers that couldn't defend against it. He noticed it, kept throwing that shit. So that's another thing I like about him. But I just don't like how he can't fight on his back foot. Okay. And he can be outboxed. Now, Juan Francisco Estrada is not a stand-back boxer by any stretch of the fucking imagination. His one loss, Ioka's one loss, was to Amnat Ruang. Okay. I fucked his name up. I don't give a fuck. He stands back. My man stands back. And he's literally like standing there, kind of almost in a fucking shoulder roll. He's like this a little bit. Yeah. And he's waiting. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And if Ioka, who was actually timid in that fight, he's coming forward like this, but he's taking 1, 2 steps. He's not moving as much as he normally does. Shit, Amnat was like throwing that jab at him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So this guy can be outboxed. Now, if Juan Francisco Estrada has an epiphany before this fight, he's like, you know what, dog? I'm a box. And this motherfucker turns into a Amnat wrong and shit during training camp. It's an easy fight for him, in my opinion.
Yeah.
The thing about Juan Estrada, man, again, he has very high punch variation. He uses pretty much every punch in his fucking arsenal to get the job done. I mean, my man he's punching you all over the place. Okay, it's hard to get away from his attack. He likes to sidestep his opponents mid-attack, meaning he could be standing there in front of you and he's but then he'll step to the side, give you an angle, then he'll continue with combinations. Kind of like, now a lot of motherfuckers gonna be like, bro, he don't got footwork like that, but I'm just giving an example. Kind of like what Lomachenko likes to do. He'll sidestep, throw combinations. I've seen Juan Francisco Estrada do that in plenty of fights. Okay. Problem with him though is he can be very wild with his punches. He has a suspect defense, meaning his fucking defense, his offense is his defense, B. Like he has no defense, no head movement, no upper body movement, can't fight on his back foot, likes to retreat when an opponent with power is actually coming forward. This motherfucker's retreating, but he can't fight on his back foot. He's useless against the ropes, you know what I'm saying? And then, last but not least, he gives the illusion, I don't mean to take up all y'all's time, fellas, but he gives the fucking illusion that he could fight on the inside, right? But he really needs mid-range distance. Kind of like a Sergey Kovalev, how he and Triple G, how they utilize mid-range distance, okay? Evidence of this is he could be throwing a combination at you, coming forward, right? But if he gets too close, he'll back up and bounce. He'll stop what he's doing, back up and start bouncing, then he'll come forward again. That indicates that he doesn't want to be too close to you, all right? I got him beating the shit. Out of all them flaws that I said, I still got him beating the shit out of Ioka. Simply because everything that I said is wrong with him, Ioka can't exploit that. That's not his style.
Absolutely. There we go. I was waiting for that.
Yeah. A guy like Roman Gonzalez, perfect. That's why he beat him the way he did.
Yep.
But Ioka, too timid, no head movement, no upper body movement, stays on the outside. You know, beautiful jab, you know, nice come forward type of footwork, but it's not enough, in my opinion, to actually stop the arsenal and the attack of Juan Francisco Estrada. So I'm with you guys on that. I think he might stop him late. I say he stops him in maybe 10 rounds. And he's been talking shit. He said he wants to rematch with Roman Gonzalez.
No.
That's what he said. He said after this shit, if he actually fights Ioka, he wants that fucking rematch, B.
No, that's where I call a timeout, and I say stop. You stop right there. You know? Nah, man, he needs to stay as far away from Roman Gonzalez as possible.
No doubt.
But I'm sorry. One more thing. An interesting, just a side note. I do believe Juan Francisco Estrada has 13 more fights than
yes, sir.
than Kazuto Ioka, and also I believe he's 33 and 2 with 24 or so knockouts. So
absolutely.
he packs a bit of a punch, you know. So whereas with Kazuto Ioka, I think he has decent power. You know, he's 20. He's 20-1 with 12 knockouts, but Estrada's got the punch. He's got the punch variation, and just like you said, I don't think Ioka. I'm in full agreement. So I don't think Ioka has what it takes to exploit Estrada's flaws. So it should be a very interesting fight, though.
Yep. Anything you want to add to that, Malachi?
Yeah, I think Estrada's going to work him in the body. I think he's going to tear his body up. Because of that. And now, like I said, especially in the second fight with Juan Carlos. Now, Ioka showed some decent counterpunching in that fight. He counterpunched a lot in that fight, and if he can bring something like that to the table, of course, Juan Carlos is not Revka. I think it's Juan Carlos Reveco.
Yeah,
he's not Estrada by any means. But he was world champion.
Yeah,
and if he can fight something similar to that, I think he could give Estrada a little bit of an issue.
Yeah.
I think Estrada's just going to tear his body up. I think he's going to hit him with power punches all night. And I just don't think Ioka's going to be busy enough to be in the fight. And then I think Estrada's going to knock him out or stop him, like you said, later in the fight.
Yeah, that's a very good point.
What about this, fellas? What if Ioka is able to utilize counterpunching in that fight? Does that change the fight?
Now, let me answer that real quick, Malachi. Let me jump in on that first. I don't think the punch I don't think the counterpunching is going to be a big deal, and here's why. Because Estrada lets his hands go, and he punches in bunches, and he has a good variation on his punches as well. He utilizes, like you said, 2K, every punch in his arsenal. So when you've got a guy like that, it's very hard to counterpunch him because he's coming at you with so many different types of punches. Oh. So if he throws a jab, right hand, left hook to the body, you may be able to catch one of those punches and counter him, but he's coming over the top with something else. You know, he's digging somewhere else. He's punching somewhere else. So the counter punching, I believe, would be great if Ioka can do it and then get out. But I don't think he has that type of style. Like I said, he's got that high guard, up straight, type of a style. And I just don't see the counterpuncher being big. If he was more of a, fleet-footed guy or a guy that could just dip in and out, he'd be great. He'd be able to counterpunch Estrada all day long. But the fact that his foot movement isn't where it needs to be in order to deal with that type of a punch variation, I don't see it being a big deal.
What are we going to say about that, Malachi?
Yeah, I agree with Cecil. I think that if Ioka, counterpunches in the fight, I think it'll prolong the fight. Mm-hmm. I still think Estrada will give him too many angles, too many punch variations.
Yeah.
And it's going to be hard for Ioka to change who he is.
Right.
You know? Even though I've seen, like I said, especially the second Juan Carlos Revka fight, he counter punched pretty well in that. It's just not, really who he is.
Right.
And I think Estrada's is gonna take him to school.
Yeah.
Do him dirty.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ding, ding, ding.
Ding, ding, ding. I agree, B. I agree. So this motherfucker gonna have to have some type of Floyd Mayweather shoulder roll type of defense to be able to counterpunch out of that in order to keep a guy like Estrada off of him, is what y'all are saying.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
All right, that's what's up, fam. All right, man, we're going to wrap it up with this. Man, I enjoyed talking about the little guys, man. I want to thank my man Malachi for coming on the show, giving his assessment. He will be back, people. Also, I want to thank my man Cess. Again, my man is off camera, but he will be back as soon as possible to grace the ladies with his presence.
Yes, sir.
No doubt. No doubt. You too, do what you do in the comment section will be real. This is real talk for real fans. 1.